It's Dr. Ernst, host of the AskDrErnst Show. And if you have high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, elevated triglycerides, or a palpitation or arrhythmia of your heart, listen up. I've done all the hard work for you, and I've put together an ebook outlining a functional approach to solving heart health issues. It reveals the top 3 causes of these conditions. It reveals the tests that your medical doctor isn't running, and even shows you why and how to fix things like elevated blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, etc. It also has the top supplements, diet, and herbs that you can start using right now to improve your heart health. Simply text the word heart plus your name and email to 704-906-2094 and it's yours free. Plus, as an added bonus, you'll get access to my live masterclass, Heart Disease Heal Thyself. I'm going to take you through the entire process of naturally correcting blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, and more. It's on Saturday, February 15th at 10 a.m. and it's 100% free. Text the word heart plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. That's 704-906-2094.
Beyond wine, we really care about health. The health of the planet and the health of each other. That's what inspired us to start this business. Our family of team members meets every morning for a group meditation, followed by an open gratitude session. We believe a sound mind with a focus on peace is the best instrument for change. Joint meditation is the cornerstone of our company culture, and it helps us remember what's important, spreading joy and love, just like our family growers. Our family is a collection of passionate, health-conscious individuals who love to laugh and enjoy each other's company. We eat seasonally, grow our own vegetables, cook together, and share wine. Our team is incredibly dedicated to our mission. Everything from sourcing the wines to answering service questions. Your natural wines were found and sourced around the world by our wine team. They taste every one, oversee their lab testing, and choose exactly which ones go in which box. If you order, your individual box will be packed by our incredibly hardworking fulfillment team. If you have any questions, your service requests will be handled by a wonderfully loving member experience family who only have one goal in mind, your 100% happiness. This video is put together by our talented media team, filmed and edited in-house, just like the rest of our artful media. From our unique creations to our printed lifestyle piece called A Matter of Taste. We put love into everything we do, and we hope to share it with you.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Get into bed to experience our smooth Celient Egyptian cotton blend sheets. Protect your mattress against the sands of time with our Celient mattress protectors. With our pillow protectors, you get the benefits of our recovery therapy. Explore new places and feel well rested throughout your journeys. Discover luxurious support that allows you to sleep in almost any position. Neck blankets are small and compact. You can bring them with you just about anywhere. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
Hello and welcome. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and I am thrilled to have this opportunity to have you with me today as you're at the office, as you're at home, as you're driving in the car, as we dive into a powerful conversation about your health and your healing and how you can take control of it naturally. Today's topic is a revolutionary approach to looking at blood pressure and cholesterol as not being the villains that they've been labeled, but as possibly being underlying root symptoms of a deeper issue. What if your blood pressure is trying to tell you something? What if your cholesterol is trying to show you something as far as it being a deeper cause? Think of it as a symptom rather than a disease. And so today what we're going to do is empower you to uncovering these root causes of high blood pressure and cholesterol, giving you actionable science-backed solutions that actually work so that you can tackle these two common, incredibly misunderstood conditions: elevated blood pressure and elevated cholesterol. If you're like millions of Americans, you probably have been told that blood pressure and cholesterol numbers are too high and that you need some sort of a medication to manage them. Maybe you've been prescribed a blood pressure pill or a statin, or maybe you are on multiple medications because these conditions are known as silent killers of heart disease. But here's the question that I would like you to ponder and think about today. Have you ever been told why your blood pressure or your cholesterol is elevated? Or better yet, has anybody ever shown you how to lower these numbers without having to rely on prescriptive or subscriptive, meaning taking them all the time, medications and pharmaceuticals? You know, today I have an update to the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. It's an absolutely free functional guide to helping you solve blood pressure, cholesterol, palpitations, and arrhythmias. So if you're that listener who's been going, yeah, I've been taking medications for my heart for years and I'm looking for a different way, all you have to do is text your name, your email, and the word heart to 704-906-2094. That's 704-906-2094. The ebook is yours free. It's our gift to you. But the challenge is for you to join us on a masterclass. I'm hosting an event on Saturday, February 15th. It's in about 2 weeks from today. It's a live online class. It's a journey towards your health. When you hop on, we're going to take you through the top 3 functional causes that create elevated blood pressure and cholesterol and triglycerides. We're going to show you how you can do simple at-home testing to find the underlying root cause, and how using functional medicine, we can take an approach to guide you to become your own doctor. So instead of using prescriptive medications, you can use natural and holistic techniques that drastically can elevate your health, which will decrease your blood pressure and decrease your cholesterol. As I've mentioned, the truth is blood pressure and cholesterol is not the problem in and of itself. They are the symptoms. Think of it as like a check engine warning light, if you will. If that light goes off while you're driving, you don't look at that light and say, oh, that's the cause of the problem. We all understand the warning lights are there to tell us you need to take a deeper dive and figure out what's going on under the cover in your body, because an elevation in blood pressure is a symptom. An elevation in cholesterol is a symptom. And while medications can certainly lower these numbers, they don't address the underlying root cause of why. Look, I'm here to tell you there is always a why behind an elevation in either blood pressure or cholesterols or triglycerides. So I'm going to show you how you can support your body's natural ability to regulate these so that you don't have to rely on conventional techniques. We're going to split today's show into 2 segments. In the first half, we're going to focus exclusively on blood pressure. I'll walk you through the top 5 reasons that blood pressure is elevated in most individuals. And then we're going to share the top 5 natural solutions that are functional, which will help you to bring your blood pressure down. These are strategies that are backed by science and research, and so you're going to hear exactly what they say to do. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to switch gears and tackle cholesterol. It has often been given this insanely bad rap, but the reality is it's not the villain that it's made out to be. I'll explain again the top 5 reasons that cholesterols are elevated, and I'll share with you my functional and natural solutions to help you restore them back into effective balance. And I want to remind you that everything we discuss today is rooted in the foundation of functional holistic principles, meaning we're going to look at how your body works as a whole, an entire interconnected system. As always, the solutions I share are supported by scientific research, which you'll hear from today. And I feel confident that when you take these steps, you'll be able to get actionable results. So, hey, listen, if you're ready to take control of your blood pressure and your cholesterol and ultimately your health, then this is a show for you. Grab a notebook, settle in. We're going to dive deep. But don't forget, this is the perfect time right now to grab your Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. Think of it as the cliff notes to everything you need to do. It discusses the common myths behind why we've labeled these as villainous symptoms. It discusses the connection between your microbiome and your nervous system. It has diet suggestions and even supplemental recommendations. The book is yours free. All you have to do is text your first name, your last name, your email, and the word heart to 704-906-2094. That's 704-906-2094. And again, on Saturday, February 15th, I'm hosting a free live masterclass. These are exceptional. You can hop on, we can interact. You can let us know exactly where you need help with your health. If it's blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, something heart health related, this is the event for you. We're going to show you how to conquer it at home, how you can find the test to get the underlying root causes, and it's all free. Text the word HEART with your name and email to 704-906-2094, and my team will get you connected. So let's look at blood pressure to begin with. Blood pressure is essentially a measure of the amount of force that your heart is pushing in order to move the fluids of your body, your blood, through your vessels. It's expressed in two numbers. The top number, what is called systolic, is the amount of pressure it takes for your heart to actively pump blood out into your body. Then you have what's called the diastolic, or the lower number, which is the pressure that is when your heart is at rest. So when it's not pushing fluids, or like what is between the beats. A healthy blood pressure, as you guys may know, is considered to be around 120/80 milligrams of mercury. However, that is not necessarily the perfect blood pressure for everyone. There is what are known as the standard deviance. You might be a +1, meaning for you, 130/90 is your normal. Or you might be a -1, 110/70 might be your normal. So we can't just look at the number as a global measurement to say if you're over 120/80, you have hypertension. In fact, even in conventional medicine, they'll say it has to be 3 consecutive readings, usually something over 140/90 before they're going to label it as hypertension. But again, here's the shocking news. According to the CDC, 50% of Americans in the United States, if tested properly, have hypertension. So guys, that's like almost 200 million people. So even more concerning is the fact that 1 out of 4 of these are going to have it controlled only using natural methods. So 3 out of 4 people are following a conventional approach, which is taking medications or following the advice of their conventional physician and not looking for the underlying root cause. From a functional perspective, blood pressure isn't just a heart issue. It's an entire systemic issue, meaning it's connected to all of your body's functions. Elevated blood pressure is usually a signal that something in your body is out of either alignment or out of balance. We often see this as, again, the root problem is that, and the warning light or the dashboard light going off is the elevated blood pressure. So let's talk now about the top 5 main reasons why blood pressure elevates. And don't forget, you can find these in the free Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook and Guide to Healing. All you have to do is text your name and your email with the word HEART to 704-906-2094. We'll zip you a copy of the ebook for free, and you get to join us for the masterclass, which is on February 15th. It's a Saturday in the morning at 10 a.m., 100% free for you and for our WBT listeners. Okay, so top 5 reasons that blood pressures are elevated. Reason number 1, it's not your diet, it's not your salt intake, it's not your genetics. It's the fact that there is chronic inflammation flowing in your body. Inflammation should be looked at as like a fire, burning consistently. And if your immune system's natural response to an injury or an infection is to engage this fire, which we need, we have to elevate our Body temperature to fight off infections. We have to elevate blood flow. We have to increase heat to be able to clean tissues out. But when inflammation becomes chronic, usually due to the fact that you're taking medications, you've been exposed to toxins, your diet is high in inflammatory foods, the classic standard American diet, or you have underlying chronic infections, which is a massive deal. You might never look at the idea that your blood pressure could be high because you have low-grade chronic viral and or bacterial infections. We're going to talk about that as it connects with your gut in a moment. But the idea here is the more inflamed you are, the more your body becomes inflamed, and the vessels and the lining of the arteries take the brunt first. The endothelial lining, which is the inner lining of the blood vessels, when they become inflamed, they start to physically become damaged and become stiff. The vessels then lose their ability to expand and contract naturally, and we get what is called a sclerotic nature, or a hardening of the arteries. This, of course, leads to an elevation in blood pressure. Listen to this. Research done at the Harvard Medical School by Dr. Peter Libby showed that chronic inflammation is one of the key driving factors of arterial stiffness and high blood pressure. So he wasn't saying it's your genetics, it's the amount of salt you eat. His research showed the amount of inflammation you have in your body is directly connected to the amount of elevations in blood pressure. If you reduce inflammation, we start to see a reduction in blood pressure. What is it that fuels inflammation for most people? 90% of the time, elevated carbohydrates, eating too many processed sugars and or grains and or food components that elevate insulin. Stress, processed foods, and in my opinion, it is the ever-present, abundant nature of seed oils found in all of our food products. Canola and corn and Wesson are a highly inflammatory oil. It's known to cause issues. And the crazy thing is they'll be labeled as being heart healthy according to the food industry, but yet in the functional spaces, an elevation of omega-6 and linoleic acids, which we find in these oils, drive your inflammation through the roof. So one thing you can do to drastically decrease your blood pressure is remove processed carbohydrates, remove seed oils, and yes, start eating a cleaner, healthy, whole diet. Reason number 2 for elevated blood pressure is going to shock you. It's known as the dysregulated stress response. And this is kind of tricky because it has to do with your nervous system. And the University of Chicago showed this evidently when they did a study taking patients with hypertension, letting them see chiropractors, getting their spines adjusted, removing neurological subluxation or stress on the spine and nerve system, and they saw drastic 16, 18-point drops in systolic and even 10 and 12-point drops in diastolic, simply because they regulated the stress response in the human body by decreasing neurological stress. It also has a lot to do with what's known as your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or the trigger of all of the hormones in your body. When your body is stressed, it starts to release cortisol and adrenaline, and the response of that is an elevation in your blood pressure. These hormones are designed in a small immediate effect to make your heart rate go up and make your blood pressure go up because you need it for survival. The problem today is that because we live in this go, 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 go world where we're always being pinged or dinged or we're listening to news that is negative, our bodies are in a state of constant stress. The American Heart Association has linked chronic, sustained daily stress to elevations in blood pressure. So imagine what happens to your arteries when the vessels are constantly constricted. It would be like turning up the pressure 24/7, and you cannot survive in a state like that for long. So what happens is the body starts to adapt, cortisol goes up, insulin goes up, and now we start to see resistance to hormones, and it is a driving factor behind blood pressure. You may not think about it, but your hormones have more to do with your blood pressure than they do what you think they do. It's not insulin for sugars, it's not testosterone for energy or thyroid for energy, it's those for your blood pressure. The third reason for elevated blood pressures, again, it's a reaction. If you have a deficiency in your system, you're going to have an elevation because your body's about homeostatic balance. So the most overlooked for blood pressure is common nutrient deficiencies. And it's known. Minerals, magnesium, potassium, calcium, they're all designed to keep the pressure of your vessels in check. Magnesium in particular is a vasodilator, and it's about estimations of 90% of patients I've worked with when tested are severely magnesium deficient. And so if we don't have the magnesium to keep the pressure in check, the vessels cannot relax and blood pressure goes up. Listen to this. Research done in the journal Hypertension Research found that individuals with low levels of magnesium, again, about 90% of everyone we test is low in magnesium, had significantly elevated levels of high blood pressure. What if it's just the fact that you're deficient in certain nutrients rather than deficient in medications? And the reason your blood pressure is so high is you're not getting your nutrients tested regularly. Instead, we're getting our numbers tested regularly. Unfortunately, most modern diets today are extremely high in processed ingredients and very low in fresh whole foods. So it leaves our diets severely nutrient deficient. Reason number 4 for elevated blood pressure, toxin exposure. And I can't hammer this enough to let you guys know this is a big deal. Heavy metals like lead and cadmium and mercury often accumulate in your body, and over time they wreak havoc on your cardiovascular system. Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Anna Navis-Asen discovered that even the trace amounts of heavy metals of cadmium, mercury, and lead elevated your risks for hypertension. It was so profound that her studies showed if you simply removed the toxins from your environment, your blood pressure can level out by itself. Where do these come from? Well, they're found in drinking water. They're found in our deodorants. They're found in pots and pans. They're found in the metals that we're using, aluminum foil, stainless steel pans that have nickel inside of them, the fillings in our teeth that have mercury, the fish we consume that have mercury contamination. Usually, most of us never get tested for this, and as a result, when the pressure starts to elevate in our body, we run off to the doctors. They'll prescribe us some medication, and again, that is also a toxin which only can aggravate it. The number one thing you can do, in my opinion, to help resolve your blood pressure is confirm that you are free of heavy metals. There's a very simple test. It uses some hair off the back of your neck, ships out to a lab. It's a toxic hair elements test. It'll give you a breakdown of how much metals you have in your body. We talk all about this in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook because it shows you how to test yourself for the functional causes of hypertension and high cholesterol. Again, if you'd like a copy of this ebook, it's completely free. Heart Disease Heal Thyself. Simply text your first name, your last name, and your email along with the word heart to 704-906-2094. We'll zip it over to you, and you get free access to the Heart Heal Thyself Masterclass Saturday, February 15th, where I will take you step by step through how to identify your root cause, how to test for it, and how to eliminate it so your body begins to heal by itself. Number 5 is a tricky one. Poor kidney function. And you would be amazed how many people today are walking around with kidneys that are in stage 1 or stage 2 early decline. A GFR test will tell us how healthy your kidney is, and it should be somewhere north of 90, ideally into 100. But again, testing thousands of patients here in the Charlotte area, a good majority will have GFRs in the 80s or 70s, which shows early kidney stress. Your kidneys, of course, play a crucial role in regulating your blood pressure because they are responsible for controlling fluid balance and electrolytes. If your sodium levels start to elevate because your kidneys aren't getting rid of it, fluid retention kicks in and then blood pressure goes up. When your kidneys aren't functioning properly, either because of poor diet, dehydration, lack of neurological control, blood pressure can often elevate. Did you know in the journal Hypertension, they confirmed that if a kidney is impaired in its function, it is the major contributing factor for elevated blood pressure. So I want you to think of your kidneys as like a filtration system. If they're overburdened, the pressure becomes the collateral damage and the toxins start to elevate, and that only aggravates the condition in of itself. So how do we deal with this? Well, number 1, again, you can download the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. It contains all of the steps necessary for you to implement a functional approach. Simply text your name, your email, and the word heart to 704-906-2094. We'll zip that ebook over to you so you can start educating yourself. And let's implement the top 5 natural solutions for lowering blood pressure. Step number 1, because we know it's inflammation, you must, and I must stress this, must start to adopt an anti-inflammatory diet. Remember, chronic inflammation is known to be the major root factor behind elevated blood pressure. And the reason for this, again, is primarily we focus on standard dietary recommendations that have been handed down for generations. Eat diets high in whole grains. It's a major source of inflammation. Instead, we should be doing leafy green vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, wild-caught fish, nuts and seeds, healthy plant-based fats, avocado oil, coconut oil, and stay as far away as you can from refined processed foods and the seed oils we discussed. Research in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology shows that if you have a diet that is rich in anti-inflammatory nutrients, meaning you're eating green vegetables, clean proteins, and avoiding high carbohydrate foods, you can lower your blood pressure as much as 10 points systolic. Number 2, if magnesium is a big deal, then let's just start supplementing magnesium. I'm here to tell you today, the majority, 80 to 90% of people we test are magnesium deficient. You would not hurt yourself if you started to take some magnesium, simply because the chances that you are normal with magnesium is very slim. A daily dose of 400 to 600 milligrams of specifically magnesium glycinate can help to relax your blood vessels. Now, the trick with magnesium is there's so many different types. There's citrate, there's glycinate, there's tauruate. So you want to go for the bisglycinates because it helps to relax your blood vessels more than anything else. A study published in the journal Hypertension found that magnesium supplementation, about 600 milligrams, can lower your blood pressure somewhere between 5 to 10 points. Solution number 3. We talked about the immune stress, about how the neurological systems can become dysregulated. It is time to start paying attention to your spine. I cannot say this enough because we see it over and over again. Undiagnosed misalignments of the spine or subluxations stress the neurological system, and it creates a dysregulation of how your body makes your organs work. A stressed out spine means stressed out organs. Stressed out organs means elevations in their pressure and how they work, especially if it's the cardiovascular bundle. Seeking chiropractic care, again, the University of Chicago showed proof if you get your atlas adjusted and you release the pressure on the vagus nerve, you can see drastic drops in your blood pressure in a matter of weeks. Solution number 4, let's talk about detoxification. It's a known fact that today we are exposed to toxins, 80-something thousand plus toxins in our day-to-day environment, and a lot of us are not addressing the heavy metals. So again, lead and cadmium and mercury. A few things you can do to begin with that: infrared saunas, increasing your sweating through your exercises, and using supplements like milk thistle can, of course, help to engage natural detoxification. But hands down, the best is to find a functional physician who can help you identify through testing and doing some version of a chelation process. We like EDTA chelation because we can specifically target various metals and help your body to remove them so you begin to heal properly. Solution number 5. There's a big connection between your sleep and your high blood pressure. If you have any issues of snoring or sleep apnea or obstructive, disrupted sleep, massive connections between that and elevated blood pressure. If you simply were able to avoid screens before going to bed, decrease the amount of blue light you have, set the temperature of your house so that it goes down maybe a degree or 2 from what you're used to, black out your bedroom so that there's no light coming in, you can see beginning changes in your sleep patterns, which can help to, again, change your blood pressure. So there you have it, the top 5 reasons for elevated blood pressure and the top 5 natural solutions to help bring them down. Remember, blood pressure is not a symptom in and of itself, not a problem by itself. It is the reaction. You have to now seek down the root cause, take control of that, and you can break your dependence upon conventional approaches. After we come back from this commercial break coming up, we're going to shift gears into cholesterol. So don't go away. We're going to make sure we uncover how to lower that. And take a moment right now to text in your name, your email, and the word heart so we can send to you the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. Again, it is chock full of all the functional approaches, the testing that you need to do, the diets we need to follow, and the guides to help you taking control now. And you get access to our free masterclass Saturday, February 15th at 10 a.m. Take a moment right now while we have a commercial break to do that. And when we come back, cholesterol, is it a conundrum or is it actually something good? And how do we deal with it just like we deal with our blood pressure? Hey, don't go away. This is Dr. Aaron Ernst with the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We will be right back.
Like most sustainable products, sustainable coffee production is not only healthy for the environment, but it's also healthy for the body. Like our commitment to purity in every cup, our focus extends beyond taste to encompass the health of consumers and the environment. At Purity Coffee, the journey from farm to cup should be as pure and sustainable as the coffee itself. Our farmers adhere to rigorous organic farming practices, ensuring our beans are free from harmful chemicals and pesticides.
We try to make organic coffee, even though we didn't know it was organic. We just were not using chemicals or anything like it. We weren't really interested on chemicals. We wanted to have something healthy, something without needs of chemicals. So that's why we went into, by then didn't exist the word organic, I think. We're talking about on the 70s. So nowadays we know the new words, organic, sustainable, and all that. We try to do all that regardless. We didn't do it for any purpose specifically, but we did it because it's the natural things to do. We live on the farm. We have a lot of workers who are thriving to make things better every time. And they love the fact of the challenge of what to do with some waste, what to better up things, what to recycle, what to reuse.
I'm Whitney, a dietitian and diabetes educator, and you may be surprised to know that I actually recommend for my patients to drink coffee. Coffee is actually one of the richest sources of antioxidants in the Western diet. Chlorogenic acid, one of the antioxidants found in coffee, helps not only fight inflammation, which can be the root cause of so many chronic diseases, but it actually can help improve blood sugar balance. Because chlorogenic acid reduces carbohydrate absorption, it can reduce blood sugar spikes at mealtimes.
But our dedication to health doesn't stop there. Purity Coffee is not just about a great cup of coffee. It's about a commitment to protecting the environment for future generations. By partnering with sustainable farms and investing in carbon neutral practices, we minimize our ecological footprint and promote a healthier planet for all. As consumers, we have the power to drive positive change through our choices. By choosing Purity Coffee, you're not just supporting your own health, you're also championing a movement towards sustainability and environmental responsibility. So why settle for anything less than pure? Choose Purity Coffee and join us on a journey towards a healthier you and a healthier planet. Because when it comes to coffee, purity is the ultimate quality measure.
Wine is a fermented beverage that has been enjoyed by humanity for over 8,000 years. Our ancestors believed in its magical healing powers. Philosophers turned to it to spur new ideas and encourage lively debate. Wine has been a well-studied part of our history, but recently it's changed. The wines sold today in most stores and restaurants are not the same wines enjoyed by our ancestors. Today, wine is a highly processed, factory-made product filled with toxins and industrial additives. The grapes are farmed with machines and heavy pesticide use, and the marketing is misleading and dishonest. Wines free from this human intervention still exist. They're called natural wines. These wines are a return to the old way of making and enjoying wine. Free from commercial additives, high sugar, and heavy alcohol content, these wines are a beautiful expression of nature. They're also extremely rare. Less than 1% of the world's wines are grown to this standard. They are made in hyper-small quantities by family farmers who work by hand using ancient practices. When you drink them, all of this becomes clear. You'll notice a completely new wine experience. This is the kind of wine that derive from wine sources. We search the globe looking for pure natural wines, carefully nurtured by family growers who work with nature, and we take it a step further, sourcing wines that meet our strict criteria for farming, purity, and taste. We only work with organically grown wines, farmed without irrigation and without heavy machinery. Grapes are hand-picked and then fermented using native wild yeast, not the industry standard GMO yeasts. Our wines are pure, lab-tested by an independent enologist for metrics including alcohol and sugar. They also taste extraordinary, bright, fresh, and full of life. They jump out of the glass because they aren't sterilized or heavily processed.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. My name is Dr. Aaron Ernst. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. We're having a lively discussion today about two common cardiovascular health issues, elevated blood pressure and elevated cholesterol. How often they're labeled as the root cause. Your elevated cholesterol, that's why you're having problems. Your blood pressure's high, that's why you're having problems. But instead, I'm here to share with you that they are actually symptoms of your body telling you something's wrong. You need to dive deep and figure out what's going on. At the superficial level, you'll see the blood pressure elevation, you'll see the cholesterol elevation, and unfortunately in conventional medicine, they're going to say, it's high, it's elevated, it's a risk factor, and they have a medication to lower it, but just lowering the numbers doesn't solve the reason they were high in the first place. In functional medicine, our goal is always to teach and educate you. There is an underlying root cause, and if you fix the root cause issue, that symptom, the elevations in blood pressure, the elevations in cholesterol, can go away. I've seen this time and time again with the countless number of patients we've dealt with. I'm thinking of a few people off the top of my head. Jeff had cholesterols in the high 300s, triglycerides in the 500s, found out the underlying root cause was a chronic inflammatory infection. We dealt with a neurological reaction, and in a matter of 4 months, completely reset his cholesterol levels, completely reset his blood pressure. Oh, and by the way, completely off diabetic medications at the same time. I've seen it happen over and over again. At the top of the hour, we discussed how blood pressure is a big deal because so many Americans are dealing with it. And the challenge is, the approach medically, again, is to just simply bring the number down. We went over how chronic inflammation, how a dysregulated stress response. This is the tricky one, guys. It's how your nervous system communicates through the vagal nerves and through the thoracic nerves to the heart directly. And if a subluxation is present, it creates a interference in the electronic signaling of the brain to the body. It dysregulates your stress response. Parasympathetics, which should be slowing things down, go into underdrive. Sympathetics, which naturally elevate pressures and elevate cholesterols, go into overdrive. We get into what's known as a dominant state. And then our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is the regulation of how your brain talks to your adrenal glands, becomes overstimulated. And then cortisol levels go up, adrenaline levels go up, insulin levels go up, and we get this innate stress reaction as if we're being chased by a feral lion, when in fact we're just sitting at our desk or at home watching a show with our spouse, or we're in the car driving. And that chronic stress of inflammation leads to issues. We also discussed how nutrient deficiencies are at a root cause. If you have an elevation of anything in your body, it's almost always because there's a deficiency of something that you need in order to offset that elevation. We talked about how magnesium in particular and potassium and calcium are crucial, and about how diets today are extremely stripped of nutrients because of their processing nature. We also discussed how toxins like heavy metals and pesticides and herbicides can bog down our heart physically, specifically how cadmium, lead, and aluminum and mercury can interfere with the electrical conductivity flowing through the heart. Finally, we discussed how poor kidney function can affect your cardiovascular health because it regulates fluids. And if you'd like a brief recap of all of that, it is available for you for free in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. All you have to do is text your first name, your last name, the word heart, and your email to 704-906-2094. We'll get the ebook in your hands, which shows you everything you need to do step by step, and we'll get you access to the masterclass Heart Heal Thyself. We're going to take you through the functional steps specific to your health conditions so that you can take control, become your own doctor, and heal yourself. That is on Saturday, February 15th. Again, completely free. Just simply text your name, your email, the word heart to 704-906-2094, and we'll help you get connected with that. All right, cholesterol. Here's the deal with this. It is the one that everybody is so panicking about. And the challenge is, if you've been told that your cholesterol is high, you've probably been told that you must take a statin in order to lower it. In my opinion, cholesterol has become demonized for the last several decades. But the truth is, it's not as villainous as it sounds. And there's a lot of research showing that your total cholesterol numbers aren't necessarily an indicator of your cardiovascular risks. Let me give you an example of this. If you were to look at other cultures, so for example, like the Maasai or the Inuit Eskimos or the Rindalis of Kenya and Africa, these cultures eat a tremendous amount of what would be labeled today cardiovascular death foods. So they eat a lot of red meats, they drink a lot of milk, they use a lot of butter and fat. And yet, for example, the Maasai tribe, 66% of their diet is saturated fat, yet they have some of the lowest heart risks and heart disease of any culture in the world. Look at the Inuit Eskimos up in Alaska. They typically eat a diet 75% saturated fat. Exactly what you would think. My God, their cholesterol must be through the roof. And it is. Their cholesterols are ranging between 300 to 400 total, yet they have very low levels of cardiovascular disease. How can this be? Well, I think it is because their diets have almost zero grains, sugar, chemicals, toxins. So they live a natural lifestyle that actually gives them foods of their culture. And even though it's labeled as what we would say is cardiovascular death foods, think red meats and butter and things like that, they actually have very low levels of heart disease. So I think the idea of looking at total cholesterol is something that needs to be divorced. Now, we're not going to just ignore your cholesterol numbers. We need to know what is the LDL, what is the HDL, but even more importantly, we need to know about the size of them. And here's the tricky part. You could have totally perfect cholesterol levels and still have massive heart health risks. You could have elevated cholesterol levels and have no signs of cardiovascular disease, no plaquing, no, coronary calcium buildup. So we can't just say because cholesterol gets elevated, it's going to cause plaquing in your heart or in the vessels of your body. So there must be an underlying root cause. And guess what? There is. Now we have to look at cholesterol also as it's a product that your body makes. So if we can make it, there must be a reason and a need for it. And I don't know if you know this or not, but cholesterol makes up every single cell in your body. It is found in the membranes of the cells. It is primarily found in your brain. Your neurological tissue is made 50 to 60% of cholesterol. All of our hormones, testosterone, estrogen, the main players of reproductivity and also just our energy come from cholesterol. Vitamin D even is a precursor, and it can be made from cholesterol. So we can't live without cholesterol. And many people who have taken statins and seen their levels start to come down notice the secondary side effects of what we do when we lower cholesterol in the body globally. Brain fog kicks in, memory loss, forgetfulness, because it's found in all of our muscle tissues and our cellular responses. There can be breakdowns of muscle. You can have aches and pains because of this. And it's simply because we're removing a molecule that isn't necessarily the root cause of the issue. So I want to talk today about, again, like we did with blood pressure, what are the top 5 reasons that cholesterol would elevate? And then how do we approach that using natural techniques to get cholesterol to come back down? Again, everything you need in regards to your cholesterol is also found in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook, yours free today. Simply text your first name, your last name, your email, and the word HEART to 704-906-2094. Not only do you get the ebook for free, which is chock full of information on how to do this, but you get access to the live masterclass Saturday, February 15th. It's you and me, intimate, on the internet, just us. We're going to discuss exactly how you can identify your root causes, how you can save hundreds of dollars on the tests necessary to find them, and what you can do at home to start becoming your own doctor and heal yourself. Okay, reason number 1. Guess what? It is the exact same thing that elevates our blood pressure, and it is chronic inflammation. When your body's inflamed, ready for this? Your liver uses cholesterol as a natural anti-inflammatory response. So if you have an elevation in total cholesterol LDL, what I would propose is that your first thought should be, oh my gosh, I'm inflamed. I need to get my inflammatory levels down. A 2020 review in Nature Reviews in Cardiology showed that inflammation will transform an LDL particle into a more toxic, sticky, oxidized particle, which contributes to why they stick to the vessel walls in the first place. So did you hear that? It's not the fact that the cholesterol is necessarily elevated. It's the fact that it became oxidized, which is a version of sort of like rusting, if you will. It changed its molecular makeup and it becomes sticky now. And if there's an inflammatory process where the endothelial lining is inflamed, your body will innately throw calcium into it because we need calcium to regulate our vessels. And unfortunately, the calcium starts to attract that oxidized LDL. And this is now the underlying thought of why there starts to become a plaque in the first place. So think about it this way. If you decrease your inflammation, if you do some chelation and targeted therapies to get the calcium out of your vessels, then the LDL won't be as oxidized, then it doesn't stick as much. So we can't just look at it and say because your total cholesterol is high and because your LDL levels are high, you're going to have cardiovascular blocking. It's common, but it's not the underlying root cause. Reason number 2 for elevated cholesterol, and this is a big one for most people, insulin resistance. And yes, you might be thinking like, oh, doesn't that mean that I'd have to be a diabetic? Like I can't have insulin resistance if I don't have diabetes. And the answer to that is no. You can have early levels of insulin resistance, which believe it or not, is found in the majority of patients we work with. So thousands of patients in the Charlotte area have had their insulin levels tested with our clinics. And we find that probably 50 to 60% of people are in an early insulin resistant state. When your cells become resistant to insulin, your body will compensate by producing more of it. And because insulin is a backbone structure that comes from cholesterol, your cholesterols have to elevate for you to be able to make more insulin. And the insulin then is a trigger because it drives the inflammatory process up. And unfortunately, it makes the LDL molecules become smaller. So here's the other caveat of cholesterol today. It's not just about how many there are, it's about the size of them. The smaller your particles, the more likely they are to get wedged into the vessels of your arteries, become oxidized, and become plaqued. But if they're bigger and more fluffy, larger particles, they're less likely to do that. And guess what the number one driving force is that makes those particles small? The amount of insulin you have floating around in your blood. Research published at the Journal of Lipid Research showed a direct link between high levels of insulin and a dyslipidemia within the vessels, meaning that there was more cholesterol plaque in the vessels, a condition that's marked by high triglycerides, low HDL, and high LDL, also known as metabolic syndrome. We tend to find this with a lot of people who have high cholesterol but aren't diabetic, and also people who are diabetic that don't have high cholesterol. So insulin is a big player in your cholesterol levels. Reason number 3, again, you may not be thinking about this, your thyroid has everything to do with your cholesterol levels. It plays a key role in regulating cholesterol metabolism in the first place. Low thyroid function or even subclinical hypothyroidism slows the clearance of cholesterol from your bloodstream. So we should be naturally burning and removing cholesterol. If your thyroid's working perfectly, you're going to see a natural turnaround of the LDL molecules. When your thyroid starts to become deficient and you run out of active T3, the LDL cholesterol particles do not become reabsorbed into the liver, and so they circulate and float throughout the body. Even subclinical hypothyroidism, which is underdiagnosed. You don't take medications for thyroid, you haven't been told you have a thyroid problem, but you have a subtle imbalance in your thyroid levels can cause cholesterol levels to climb significantly. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that if you take care of your thyroid by balancing it using either glandulars or some sort of supplemental support, you can see a significant reduction in your LDL cholesterol. This, to me, highlights the fact that it's not just genetic and it's not just your diet. It could be you have an underlying thyroid problem. It could be that you have an insulin resistance pre-diabetes that you didn't know about. It could be and is because you're inflamed simply because most of us are eating standard diets of grains and corn and rice and soy and using oils of cardiovascular heart health, right? The canolas, the Wessons, the corn oils, etc. Number 4 is a big one, and we talked a lot about this in the top of the hour. Chronic infections can lead to elevated blood pressure, but they can also lead to elevated blood cholesterol because of a condition known as dysbiosis. We know that your gut has a profound impact on your cholesterol. In fact, if you don't believe me on this, go to PubMed, just type in leaky gut and cholesterol. And the amazing thing is today, even the phrase leaky gut is becoming a commonly known issue within the digestive system. You can also type in dysbiosis, dysbiosis, and cholesterol. It's simple. The information is out there. It's just most of us aren't searching for it ourselves. So if you do a quick PubMed search, you type in dysbiosis and cholesterol, what you're going to find is they're showing if the bacterial relationships of your intestines are overgrown, you hypersecrete cholesterol because it's an inflammatory response. You hyper-elevate your blood pressure. They've even shown studies that there's a molecule called TMA, trimethylamine, which is converted by the bacteria in your intestines into trimethylamine oxide, which will actively elevate blood pressure and cholesterol. So what if it's that you don't have a genetic issue or a problem with your, diet per se, but you have a dysbiosis within your intestines? A balanced gut and a balanced microbiome actually help to break down cholesterol. Here's the thing. It is secreted into your intestines in a gallbladder bile solution. And those bile acids need to be broken down, and we reabsorb the bile, but we excrete the cholesterol. When your body is not doing that, and when the bacteria are out of balance, a condition known as dysbiosis again, the cholesterol metabolism is disrupted, which means we reabsorb the LDL, and it starts to go back into elevating it. Listen to this. A 2018 study in the journal Nature Reviews Gastroenterology and Hepatology found that the microbiome of the gut plays a crucial role in regulating the metabolism of your fats and your cholesterols. A dysbiosis or an inflamed gut, we cannot metabolize them, so they get recirculated, and what happens is we start to see an elevation in cholesterol over time. Number 5, just like blood pressure, environmental toxin exposures. So let's talk about toxins, specifically these things called persistent organic pollutants, which falls in the category of heavy metals, dioxins, phthalates, plastics, all the environmental toxins that we get exposed to, and how they interfere with the cholesterol process of metabolism. Toxins generally impair liver function, which increases oxidative stress within the liver, which can damage the LDL particles, making them smaller, more dense, and become oxidized. Therefore, as they excrete out through the liver, they're more likely to stick to the arterial walls if they're inflamed. A study published in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives found that exposure to these persistent organic pollutants, glyphosate in our foods, fluoride and barium and other components in our water, aluminum through our deodorants, mercury through the fillings we have in our mouth or the fish we consume, leads to a breakdown in liver function, specifically with the phase 1, phase 2 detox process that elevates LDL, cholesterol, and triglycerides. So if you were to engage in a liver supportive detoxificational program, which is outlined for you in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook, completely free, all you have to do is text your name, your email, and the word heart to 704-906-2094. We'll zip this over to you today, and we'll give you free access to the masterclass I'm hosting on Saturday, February 15th. So there's the top 5 reasons that cholesterol is out of balance. Notice how it's not probably what you thought. Chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, poor thyroid function, leaky gut and or dysbiosis, or environmental toxins. The neat thing is today, guys, there are ways that you can get tested for each of these to find out from a percentage factor, how bad is this? The unique thing of today is we have blood tests that can actually show us the amount of inflammation in your body. We have urinary exams that can show us if your gut is leaking or dysbiotic and if you have toxins or pesticides. We can look for insulin resistance and thyroid function again with a very simple bioscreen of a blood test. Environmental toxins, we personally use hair tests because we can look for heavy metals and pesticide residues. So the joy of this, in my opinion, is if you get tested and you find the underlying root cause, you can fix it. So let's talk about the top 5 things you can do right now to lower your cholesterol. And what you're going to notice is it's almost the exact same things that will help you to lower your blood pressure. Because again, those are symptoms. Here's root cause. Number 1, you must, again, start changing your diet to more of a higher anti-inflammatory diet. Research published in the Journal of American College of Cardiology shows that if you were to simply increase clean proteins. So that's fish, chicken, turkey, eggs. Cut out most carbohydrate-laden foods, fruits and, things that are full of sugar, and go for more of a colorful vegetable diet. So anything of the rainbow. So we eat proteins and greens and colored vegetables. You see a significant reduction in LDL cholesterol, as much as 10%, and an elevation in HDL cholesterol. The study actually showed that if you switch out canola and corn oils for simply using olive oils, you can see a huge change in your cardiovascular health. They've also shown that wild-caught fish, free-range chicken, turkey, eggs, and even grass-finished red meats can help to lower your cholesterol levels as well. Avocado oils, coconut oils, all of these are anti-inflammatory foods, and it's a great way to do that. Number 2, incorporate the power of intermittent fasting. Fasting can help to reduce your insulin levels, and because insulin levels are often connected with elevated cholesterol levels, the best way to approach lowering your cholesterol is to lower your insulin. And if we fast, it also allows our body to burn through the reserves that we're storing because we're not eating food. So we decrease triglycerides because we burn those fats. We decrease LDL cholesterols while boosting HDL cholesterols because we're shifting our insulin factors. In 2018, a study was published in the journal Cell Metabolism that found that intermittent fasting significantly changes your lipid profiles. Individuals with metabolic syndrome that started doing 16-hour fasting with 8-hour eating saw drastic levels and changes in their LDL and their total cholesterols. What about a supplement if we were to try to drive down cholesterol? Well, berberine has been shown to be highly effective. Listen to this. In 2008, a study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that the use of berberine can lower your LDL cholesterol by a whopping 25%. It can even do triglycerides, lowering them down by 35%. Guys, that's outrageous. Berberine, it's a supplement that is natural and active. It has a component in it that activates what's called AMPK. So AMPK, which is the AMP activated protein kinase. It is an enzyme that is responsible for breaking down and metabolizing cholesterol. So by adding berberine, the recommended dose, by the way, is 500 milligrams taken 2 to 3 times a day. When you eat food, you can start to see your body metabolize cholesterol naturally. Because we know a dysbiotic gut is also a regulator in cholesterol, studies show that if you add strains of lactobacillus to your probiotics, you can also see a change in cholesterols. I found one here, 2012, a study published in the journal Atherosclerosis found that participants taking Lactobacillus reuteri, a probiotic that is available over the counter, saw a reduction in their LDL cholesterols by as much as 12%, just simply by adding it to their diet for 12 weeks. Another supplement you can use that works exceptionally well is red yeast rice combined with CoQ10. Red yeast rice is a natural alternative to statins. It contains what's called monocolin K, which is an enzyme, which inhibits an enzyme that's responsible for cholesterol production. To prevent the side effects that sometimes you can get, which is muscle aching and pain, it's recommended to take it with CoQ10. It's a powerful antioxidant that can help to support mitochondrial function. And you ready for this? Adding 100 to 200 milligrams of CoQ10 daily can help to change, when you're using red yeast rice, your cholesterol as much as 20 to 30%, according to a study published in the journal Circulation. Red yeast rice in combination with CoQ10, 20 to 30% reduction in cholesterol. So there we go. We talked about the top 5 reasons for elevated cholesterol, the root causes. I gave you 5 solutions you can implement right now. We also discussed that for blood pressure. And remember, cholesterol and blood pressure themselves are not the enemy. It is a symptom of a deeper imbalance going on within your body. Inflammation, insulin resistance, poor gut health, toxicities. If you address these root issues, you can restore balance back to your body, and that helps you to become more resilient and healing from within. If you'd like more information on the steps we discussed today, it is all available for you in summary for free in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. All you have to do is text your first name, your last name, your email, and the word heart to 704-906-2094. And again, we're going to give you free access to the masterclass Saturday, February 15th. I'm labeling it Heart Disease Heal Thyself. We're going to take you through the steps that you can identify what are your root causes. Is it chronic inflammation? Is it insulin resistance? Is it toxicity? Once you know the root cause, now you have the effect and you can go after it. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. Don't forget you can join us every Saturday right here on News Talk 1110 WBT, 3 p.m. for the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. And we stream live every single Saturday at Ask Dr. Ernst on all social channels. Thanks for tuning in today. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. And don't forget, text the word HEART with your name and email to 704-906-2094. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.